Pepper is just an absolutely incredible company that was founded to fill this gap, literally, and create bras that were intended for small chests. Let me tell you, they have done well. I have never, in 23 years of life, any recognizable cleavage through a shirt, unless I was wearing a padded push-up bra. Not only is there no gapping, but the fit is so flattering. This one like lifts and scoops. This is not extra.
Hi, welcome to the show, everyone. It's the 10th of February.
You know where you are and who you are.
Welcome to Janine Garofalo's adventure. Right, that's a very obscure joke that no one will get, but it was a really, really, really funny intro to Game Grumps one time. We're here, just about. What RAM is that? That's a good question. That's an excellent question. What RAM is that?
It's G-Skill Trite.
No, your audio didn't cut out. He just stops talking.
No, it's DDR3 2400 C10 stuff that was kindly sent in by Chris.
Yes, this is the this is the MSI Empower motherboard that we're very, very slowly gearing up to do extreme overclocking with. And yeah, we've got this DDR3 2400, and like 2400 that's like bonkers fast for DDR3.
That's mad,
yeah.
certainly for like an XMP kit.
Yeah, so that's that's actually hectic RAM. So yeah, at CL10, well, CL10 is for DDR3. Was CL9 a thing?
Yeah, I don't know how it does kind of on the timings, but just purely on the frequency, it's very fast.
Yeah, yeah. Be interesting to know what the first word latency is on that. That's probably got to be down in the 8s or something. But
yeah.
Anyway, some DDR3 Samsung chips for fast XMP, not dying like PSC.
Yes.
Those were words.
Not the football
Welcome
club.
in, JD. It's good to see you. So yeah, on time. Yeah, we were just about on time. I'm just been gearing myself up to be awake. I felt slightly bad because I've forgotten his name because I'm awful. But a chap came in first thing this morning to bring in his Dell XPS, and he was just like, "Oh, fan of the channel and stuff." And he just got up one morning and was just like, "My XPS is broken. I'll try to Adamant IT and get him to fix it." But he caught me like first thing in the morning, and I was up until 1 a.m. last night drinking cider. So I was just like, "Yeah, we can probably do this. It's going to cost this amount." He's just like, "Oh, it's nice to put a name to a face." I'm like, "Yeah, so it would cost about this amount to fix the laptop." And after he left, I was just like, man, I could have pretended to be pleased to see him, you know? I could have pretended to actually be interested in him.
It's okay, you were desperately ill.
Yeah, so...
You were desperately ill, and we've actually replaced you with your stage brother who is unwell.
So, if you happen to be watching, sorry I wasn't more animated this morning. I just got in, I hadn't had coffee yet, and I was slightly hungover because I'd been heavily drinking. And by heavily drinking, I mean I had 2 ciders. So, so anyway, my vision, thanks.
Professional.
Thanks for the $5. Good afternoon, gentlemen. What do you have in store for your viewers today? Stuff and things. So we got the Empower Max out because Caradogs bought a metal direct die hold down bracket for it.
Yeah.
And presumably you want to see if it posts with it, because
Basically.
last time we were messing around with this board, we had 3D printed direct die brackets, and
Yeah, which worked absolutely fine for the Gigabyte board and the Asus board.
but we couldn't get them working
But for
on
this Empower one, and it's also interesting that the
ILM.
Empower one had a Lotes hold down, whereas all of the others I think were Foxconn ones.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's just possible that like the Lotes one is
Different tolerances.
thousands of millimeters different in height
Yeah.
or something, which just means the socket needs different pressure.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That might be an explanation as to why this one didn't work where it did work on the rest of them. Yeah. Fair enough. So yeah, well at any rate, so we've got a metal hold down plate for that. So basically we're just essentially just going to post test this, and I guess I guess you could just give it a poke and just see if it actually does things. It's not going to go far without serious cooling, and the chiller is not ready. In the chiller,
There is too much stuff in the way.
yeah, the chiller needs to be regassed and stuff. I assume anyway. Yeah, like any plans on that?
Not specifically. In theory, it can be used.
Yeah.
It does just need seemingly slightly less gas in it.
Yeah, so we could possibly run it if we just bled a little bit of gas. If we just tap the nozzle a couple of times, go.
Yeah.
So yes, that might get it going again. Theoretically, to actually get the most out of it, it needs a different kind of gas in it, though. We decided, didn't we?
It's got a gas in it that is designed for different pressures for the pressure that it's got. Or the pressures that it can do. So it looks like, because of that, we're getting lower temperature. It's boiling, it boils off at a lower temperature, hence we get a lower head temp.
Yeah.
Or a higher head temp. A less negative temperature.
Yes. Understandable. Yeah. Fair enough. So so at any rate, so we're going to post test this and just see if we've got the board in a state where the board is good to go, and then, because then if nothing else, it just means that at some point, even if we don't have the chiller ready to go, we could slap some other direct die cooling on this and play with it. So no plans for it quite yet, but the point is we're very slowly moving this into a position where we can try and do stuff, because at some point we're still looking to try and just put our score on the board somewhere, just so we can be like, cool, we put a score on the high scoreboard. Because we're not going to break records, but it's fun to just put a score onto a leaderboard and be like, yeah, I'm on that leaderboard.
Yeah.
We are the X fastest in the world.
I'm 7th fastest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm still sad about my Ori runs. Yeah. Okay. Again, I dipped my toes into doing speed runs on Ori and the Blind Forest, and I managed to get in at the bottom of one of the leaderboards, and I then realised that I hadn't managed to come. The reason why I got in at the bottom of the leaderboard was not because I was the 17th fastest, was that there were only 17 people on the board. So all I had to do.
Erling Haaland, welcome back. You have been missed. Absolutely huge 3 points as Manchester City beat Everton 2-0 and a clean sheet. I don't believe my eyes. A clean sheet. It feels like so long. Maybe one of you can tell me in the comments since we last got a clean sheet. But look, Erling Haaland, you have re-announced yourself. You are back. And you're back where we need you, scoring goals. He needed that today. We needed that today. What an ugly game of football that was. What an ugly game of football we just had to watch. But you know what? When you're in these title races, sometimes you have to learn to win ugly. You have to be able to grind out these wins against teams who make it really difficult for you. And I'm going to get into the ins and outs of the game, but I have to say credit to Everton, particularly in that first half, to hold us to no shots on target was absolutely exceptional from them and Sean Dyche in the way they set up. They obviously set out to make it really difficult for us. We were struggling to break them down, and I don't want to criticise too much, especially in a game in which we won, but for me, I think Pep Guardiola got some things wrong or could have done some things differently, particularly in the first half. Like, if you contrast the team that finished the game versus the team that started the game, it's quite clearly the team that finished the game. There was so much more output to be got from them. They were so much more threatening, so much more fluency. But the team that started the game, I was surprised with some of the selections. The main one that I want to start with is Phil Foden out in the wing. I thought Phil Foden overall had an excellent game, and he's continued his absolutely excellent form, but I wanted him in the middle. We needed him in the middle. It was clear in that first half that the midfield partnership of Alvarez and Matheus Nunes, it wasn't working. Neither of them were getting any joy in breaking down the Everton defence. Like, the role of a Manchester City midfielder, whether it's a 10 or a box-to-box number 8, you have to be creative going forward. You have to be able to unlock a defence. You have to be able to make things happen. And neither of them were able to do so. I'm not a fan of Alvarez in midfield. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. I think his touch is too poor at times. I don't think he reads the game like a midfielder. He wants to be in and around the box. He is dangerous in and around the box. He's naturally a number 9, but Pep insists on shoehorning him into the midfield, and it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Maybe some of you like it, but it's just not for me. I'd much rather have even seen Alvarez not play and put Foden in midfield beside Nunes. I thought Nunes struggled, but I'm not too disappointed with Nunes because it is his first season. He is getting used to it. And he's had some good games so far this season, so there's still a lot to be... You shouldn't be disheartened by Matheus Nunes, but I think he definitely struggled today, and the balance was off. The balance was totally off in the first half. Everything we did, we insisted on going through Jeremy Doku. It was actually predictable. You knew that when we came on the attack, we'd try and create an overload on the right so that we could release Jeremy Doku on the left. He was doubled and tripled up on. You know, a few of his runs were good, a few of his take-ons were good. He beat the fullback once or twice, but it wasn't enough. It was too predictable and too easy for Everton to stop. And there was another one that was of Pep's selections or Pep's tactical choices I wasn't too happy with, which was Akanji playing as the inverted role, Akanji playing the extra midfielder, when John Stones was on the pitch. Now, I know Akanji's only back from injury, so he's not fully match sharp, he's not at his best, but I still prefer John Stones in there. I don't think that role suits Akanji, or at least nowhere near to the level of John Stones. But look, it is what it is. We went in at half-time 0-0, and I'm thinking, we're going to need something special here. We're going to need some moment of magic to pull this out of the bag and get this result for us, because what was riding on the line today? To go top of the league, albeit for a few hours. We are now top of the league. We are top of the league and all that. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, it may only be for a few hours, but it's significant. It's significant for Arsenal and Liverpool, our two main title challengers, to see us in that number one spot. The big blue shark has woken up. The big blue shark has arrived. 10 out of 10 wins in all competitions. Double-digit wins in a row, consecutive, whatever way you want to call it. It's significant. City are putting a run together, and it's a run that has to be admired. We've won some games in pretty fashion. Burnley, I thought Brentford was very good. I thought Tottenham was very good, albeit 1-0. And today was an ugly win. Today we had to grind it out. We had to win ugly. And look, Erling Haaland, some of the substitutions Pep made I thought were very good, but Erling Haaland he got man of the match today, absolutely deservedly. He really needed that. The first goal was just absolutely class. It was just a class finish. Corner in from City. Our corners haven't been great all in all. Corner in, bit of a scramble in the box. It falls to Haaland on his weaker right foot, and he just rifles it. It's pure instinct, pure striker know-how to score like that. Absolute thunder bastard. Nearly burst the net, and I'm thinking, yes, that's put us in the position we need. We're 1-0 up, and let's just fight it out. Let's see what happens, man, because Everton are going to have to come out the pitch a bit more, and that's essentially how we got our second goal. Erling Haaland again. Everton are slightly higher up the pitch because originally they were set up in a really low block, congest the box, as Sean Dyche always likes to do, and that Kevin De Bruyne Haaland link up, man, injected in here, man, injected right in my veins. It's what we've all wanted to see for a long time. We've been missing that De Bruyne Haaland link up, and look, Kevin De Bruyne, he came on the pitch. You can sense the aura change. You can sense the vibe change. You can almost see the heads of the Everton defenders go down because they know what they've been dealing with up to then is totally different to what they're about to be dealing with. And Kevin De Bruyne, he came on today, I thought he was excellent. Absolutely excellent. He just dictates everything. He plays the game at his pace. He decides what pace we're playing at today. He says, I'm Kevin De Bruyne, you're going to play at my pace. Gets the ball halfway line, shrugs off a defender, plays a perfectly weighted ball through for Haaland, and you could tell by the way Haaland carried the ball to shrug off the Everton defender, compose himself, position his body so he could tuck it away in the far bottom corner. You could see that's Haaland playing with confidence. Haaland's been waiting for that ball all season. He's been waiting for Kevin De Bruyne to release him like that all season. The ball comes perfectly, he tucks it away perfectly, 2-0, result sealed. No mistakes after that, and we're top of the league, and that's exactly what we did. We grinded it out, man. We won ugly, and our top players, De Bruyne, Haaland and Foden, I thought those three were absolutely excellent today, and they stood up when we needed them. Today was the kind of game where you need your top players to stand up when you need them. And we needed them, and they did. We're top of the league. We are top of the league. Absolutely huge. I'm buzzing. I'm really, really buzzing with that, and I don't know, was it maybe in the mind of Pep through his selection, with Champions League coming up on Tuesday, will we see a totally different team? I don't know.
So, I got that one not because I didn't even look at the reviews. I was just like, that's the cheapest one. It seems to do the job. Buy it. It's still 90 quid. Not cheap, but, considering the value of the equipment that I've got for review, I'm just like, sure, I'll pay 90 quid to get everything else I need. So yeah. So yes. It is a washer and a curer in one go. I'll nuance you about the IO shield. It should be built in but removable from harder. That's reasonable. But I mean, ultimately it's going to have some kind of removable mechanism, right? But it's not difficult to have some, even if you clip on. So clip on in the box. Yeah. Do I 3D print things for use in the shop, or is it non-work related stuff? Bit of both. I've printed a couple of 3D things just for the shop. Like for example, my Paul Daniels Type C power meter. I made a little 3D printed stand and bracket to hold that because that was just a bare circuit board. If I need a random holder thing or a random bracket thing, I currently 3D print that. Half of it is just stuff at home, but also I'm moving into a position where I'm going to get the 3D printer set up on another bench where they're a bit more accessible and offer 3D printing as a service as well. It's not going to be a main money spinner, it's just going to be another thing that I have available. So, you know, people who are nearby or in range who want to 3D print something, this can be a place where you can come in and say, here's an STL, or here's a Thingiverse link, can you print this for me? And I can be like, yes, that'll cost you X amount of money. Yeah, I've no idea what I'm going to charge for that yet, but I want to get into a position where I'm offering that as a service, because I've got the equipment to do it, so why not, right? So yeah. This is resin in any capacity. Oh yeah, I probably should have bought some marigolds or something, but yeah, we'll, I think, no, they're at home. No, I was going to say, I was about to say I've got some gloves, but they're at home because I have them for when I'm working on the car, but it's fine. We're not actually going to do any 3D printing on the stream today. The other thing is 3D printing takes hours, so we can't do it on stream. So yeah, the only thing I can do is, I guess if it's got the equivalent of like the Rabbit benchmark or something like that, because like the Creality Ender 5, that will tear through Rabbit in like 15 minutes. The latest Sonic Pad updates for it, it's bonkers how fast it can burn through. And I will demand that Caradog explains what the hell the coffee distributor is and why it's important. What do you look? Oh, you.
I was looking for the ProLimmer PK2 because I could see the MX4, but
yeah, only the finest thermal paste for this test. So yes. Can you 3D print me a 3D printer? I mean, I can 3D print you a lot of parts for a 3D printer. But yeah. You're painting a mix from EVE Online. Done in PLA carbon fiber. Neat. Yeah, I was going to say carbon fiber sounds very fancy for someone. Or is it like a PLA with some carbon fiber cover bits or something? Because like 3D printed PLA is good for doing quick, dirty models, but you don't actually get a very nice finish. So I could see people doing that and then having like carbon fiber trim pieces or something. So yeah. Is 3D printer suitable for putting in the shop window as an attractor? The thought occurred to me because it would be really cool to have it in the shop window and just, but especially if it was running often, just so it would be a thing in the window that was doing things. But I can't do that without having it being a bit too accessible to the public, effectively. So yeah, because a kid is going to come into the shop, go over and poke it while it's running. Whereas what I'm going to do is there's a bench that's very close to the, that's right next to the arch between the two shop rooms. And it's technically in the workshop, so I can have just a big line on the floor saying no customers past this point. But also it's close enough that people can see it and be like, ooh, there's a machine doing a thing. And if I so wanted to, I could be like, by all means, come and have a closer look, just don't touch it. So.
Look with your eyes, not with your hands.
Yes. Time to start counterfeiting all the Nintendo toys. Absolutely. Remember, if it's Nintendo,
absolutely not.
It's always morally correct. Yeah.
I would never encourage such a thing, but don't give Nintendo money. Some would melt the prints when it's hot. Don't know. It would fade them, but like you've got to get up to 50 degrees minimum, and like I don't think stuff. I guess if we get a heat wave, we might get 40 degrees in the shop front window, but I don't think we're going to get 50 to 60 degrees. I could certainly see colours fading in direct sunlight, though. So yeah. I might be getting new materials. That's fair. Sometimes the will melt. It will wilt. Like, are you speaking from experience? Like, I'm not trying to be contradictory. I just find it hard to believe. Like, I've not put it to the test.
like if someone has put it to the test and seen that yes, British sunshine is strong enough to melt 3D printed stuff, I just find that a bit hard to believe. But like if you've seen it happen in England, I don't mean in the Arizona desert, then okay, fair enough, you know. PLA can go mushy in the sun. All right, yeah. I might put it to the test this summer actually, just so I can see the effect myself. Because as I say, this is not to say I don't believe you, but I might try that just so I can see to what extent that happens. Because I'm curious, like, is it mushy in a sense of your man will go "Ugh," like a horrified snowman, or is it just a case of if you poke it, it'll bend, you know? It looks like it's not working.
Indeed, I was just making sure if it was or wasn't the RAM.
Yeah. You could put barbed wire and electric fence around the printer, especially for kids. I mean, if they touch it, they're going to lose a finger anyway, so I think that'll be a good enough, yeah.
She can't play with that. Sure. It'll be a learning opportunity.
It will be a good lesson then, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, certainly. I mean, that much being said, long term I need to get an enclosure for the N5 anyway. If nothing else, just so I can put an air filter on it. Because like, it doesn't make that much image, but it does make enough that I don't run it without having a fan on in the room, just to blow the air around. Like at the moment, the End of 5 is behind my workbench, and if I have it running, it posted.
Yeah.
If I have it running while I'm at the workbench and it's just wafting fumes in my direction, it will actually give me a headache. So I always have a desk fan just cycling air around in the room, and that's enough. The room is big enough that I don't need to actually have ventilation, but there does need to be some air circulation. Resin printer, different story. Resin printers, I'm told that those are like mega turbo toxic. However, the GK2 that I've got here, apparently it has its own enclosure and it has apparently a fan and air filter. So yeah. Is it time to make an Adamant IT anime mascot? That's not a terrible idea.
I refuse to be a part of this.
I mean, it's either that or it's a furry mascot.